1994, Mickey's Ultimate Challenge. 1998, Casper's Animated Activity Center. 2001, WWF Betrayal. 2002, The Scorpion King, Sword of Osiris. 2004, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Movie, The Game. 2005, Barbie, The Magic of Pegasus. 2006, American Dragon Jake Long, Attack of the Dark Dragon. 2007, Shrek, Donkeys and Ogres. 2010, Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem. 2011, Thor, God of Thunder. 2013, The Smurfs 2, the video game. 2015, Descendants. And 2017, The Mummy Demastered. Those are just a few of the, let's call them what they are, cash-ins brought to you by developer Wayforward. So, you know that disappointing gift you got from your grandma who knew you liked video games but not a whole lot else? You can probably thank Wayforward for it. But you know, somehow this content mill of a company actually managed to find a genuine artistic voice and style as a developer, as well as put out a set of cult classics, including River City Girls, Mighty Switch Force, and their flagship series, Shantae. Now, before I break down the individual elements of Wayforward's style, let's look at it from the top down. The kind of games Wayforward is known for making are light, colorful, retro fun times brimming with humor and anime cuteness. Much like how a game developed by FromSoft has the unspoken promise of cryptic lore, bleak landscapes, and repeated death, when you pick up a Wayforward game, the unspoken expectation is light, breezy, colorful fun. And three elements really play into the style of game Wayforward tends to make. As you might expect from a studio with the insanely high output of Wayforward, they're versed in a wide number of different styles of game. Platformers, puzzles, beat-em-ups. But most of their output can fall under the general umbrella of retro. A major trait almost all Wayforward games have is that they're 2D. That combined with time-tested mechanics, like those found in the late 80s and early 90s, give Wayforward games a comfortable, familiar feel to play. But unlike studios that are so faithful to the retro vibe, they deliberately duplicate pixel art and 8-bit music, Wayforward embraces a more contemporary art style for many of their titles. They tend to go for a colorful and cartoony style with a lot of anime influence. Think a fun action comic from IDW or a European cartoon like Witch or Winx Club. The end result is a catalog of games full of colorful, expressive, and recognizable characters. The final element of the Wayforward style is, without a doubt, humor. With the combination of a light breezy tone, lots of fourth wall breaking, and colorful personalities, their games have a winning sense of humor. And even if they're not actually witty, they're at the very least charming. Now that you have an idea of what distinguishes the Wayforward style, let's look at how that's communicated to the audience. First and foremost, Wayforward communicate with their audience by communicating with their audience, at least in the social media sense. Unlike, say, the Nintendo official Twitter account, Wayforward are big fans of interacting with fan artists, giving out lots of likes and retweets. They've even featured selected pieces in actual games. They've also got a fairly active YouTube presence, posting joke videos on April Fool's Day, such as Cat Girl Without Salad, which then went on to become an actual game somehow, supporting speedrunners, and all in addition to frequent release of trailers. They don't have a super high sub count, especially for a corporation, but it's definitely easy to see what they're up to. Finally, a big part of any game's success is what platform it's on. And like the old proverb about throwing mud at the wall, they have their games as many places as possible. But I do think that having both the Switch and PlayStation are particularly important. Just being associated with one of the big kahunas of childhood brands, Nintendo, means that their kid-friendly games will find a ready audience. Also, Sony's PlayStation has a higher percentage of anime games than, say, the Xbox. So I think they'd get more mileage out of that particular platform, considering the clear role anime and Japanese pop culture play in the creative decisions of Wayforward. Now that you've seen the elements of their style and how they bring it across to the audience, let's look at a few Wayforward games and how that style plays out. Starting with River City Girls. If you are unaware, the game is like the Miss Pac-Man of River City Ransom. But whereas Miss Pac-Man was just a slight upgrade, River City Girls is a much different product. Starring the girlfriends of the protagonists from the original NES game, art-wise, the in-game graphics mostly imitate the original's pixel art, but much more detailed. This is supplemented by anime-inspired cutscenes, visual novel-esque dialogue sequences, and these cool still images at one of the game's many in-game shops. It all blends nicely with the beat-em-up RPG gameplay from the original and the high school fighting anime storyline. Wayforward has also left its mark in terms of humor. Every character, even the random goons you fight, are brimming with personality and attitude, and of course our heroines, Kyoko and Masako, are as fun as they are violent, and ready to curb stomp this Scott Pilgrim-esque world. Now let's look at Spider Swords. In the vein of completely ridiculous comic book ideas, a la Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Spider Swords is set in a world running out of food. So to solve the problem, a dystopian megacorporation decides to splice dinosaurs and spiders as a food product. That idea makes about as much sense as why they would send a wannabe rock star and a pizza delivery guy armed with makeshift weapons to resolve the problem they created. But honestly, that's just part of the charm. Playful exaggeration, not unlike the Fallout games, is definitely in play in Spider Swords, along with a lot of quippy, sarcastic dialogue. Gameplay-wise, this is a side-scrolling shooter a la Contra, with plenty of power-ups to help our would-be heroes to defeat their arachnoid foes. The 80s-era gonzo comic feel is absolutely enhanced by the art style. Everything is very exaggerated and cartoony. The characters, the environments, the weapon animations, and of course, the enemies. It all fits nicely together with all the other elements and is a ton of fun. Finally, let's examine the patient zero of Wayforward's style, their crown jewel franchise, Shantae. Consisting of 5 games over a variety of platforms, gameplay-wise, the Shantae series has always been an action platformer with Metroidvania elements. 2 gameplay styles that have been around since practically the dawn of gaming. But they're always augmented with the series' own staples, like Shantae's transformation dances. Art-wise, in its most recent outing, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, they introduced animated cutscenes, and that's absolutely perfect. Because with its bright colors and very kawaii-inspired art style, the games already look like cartoons. Finally, Shantae's humor is always varied and in full effect. The natural charm of its characters and their interactions are added to with fourth-wall-breaking non-sequiturs and ridiculous character designs. Now that we've looked at some individual games, the distinctive fingerprint of Wayforward's creative voice is as clear as a math equation. Retro gaming style, plus cartoony anime art, plus humor, adds up to fun. And they're actually fairly good at telling you about it through their Twitter posts. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in supporting my work outside of YouTube, check out Sorcerous, a dark fantasy mystery RPG available right now on Steam. And if you'd like more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel right here on YouTube.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.